Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. Happy October. As always, it's now the first Wednesday of the month, so that's when we will be having our Wellness Wednesday presentation, and we have a very good one tonight. We're really excited to share with you a presentation by cholangiocarcinoma patient Susan Alunan. She is going to be discussing alternative treatments that complemented her journey, and I'll let her share more details about it. But her presentation is called Thriving and Surviving with Cholangiocarcinoma. If you have any questions, we will be monitoring both Facebook and the Zoom chat at the bottom. So if you click the chat button and you type a question, we will be watching it. There's time at the end for questions and answers, but if you have a specific question to the slide or a topic and you feel like you want us to answer it right away, we'll make sure that we get the question to her. And I will let you take it away, Susan.
Hi, my name is Susan Alunan, as Ali said. Thanks to the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation for being there. Your support is great, and for having me with you today. I'm an 11-year survivor, first diagnosed with cholangio in 2010. When I was first diagnosed, like many of you, I was told my chances of survival were grim. But I found a good team at Penn, was lucky to qualify for a resection, and received adjuvant chemo in 2010. I was pronounced cured in 2018 until nodes we'd been watching in my lungs were diagnosed as metastatic disease last year. I've had 2 lung resections and proton radiation for metastasis to the lung and lymph nodes. Genetic testing revealed the IDH1 mutation, so I was prescribed Tibsovo and did very well on it. I'm at present NED, yay, and I've discontinued that Tibsovo. My next scan is in 3 months, so wish me luck. I'm so grateful to have had good outcomes and the gift of time. We've had some great milestones in the last 11 years in our house. Since my diagnosis, I've been very grateful to see my son graduate from college, my daughter complete her graduate degree. I've enjoyed my daughter's wedding. We've done a little traveling, and we've welcomed 2 happy, healthy grandchildren. After a diagnosis, I also started a second career, and this year will complete my dissertation for a PhD. I teach a political philosophy course and love seeing my students go on to grad school and good work. But everyone's journey is unique. Your journey will not be the same as mine. My point is that we should never, ever lose hope, no matter how grim the initial prognosis seems. I'm here today to share some nutrition and supplements that have complemented my cancer treatments and recovery, and I believe with lifestyle and exercise have helped me to thrive. You don't need to take notes. The link will be available through the foundation, and the resources are all listed at the end of this on the last slide. So, thriving and surviving with cholangiocarcinoma. First things first, survive. You've heard this. If you're newly diagnosed with active disease, please find a good specialist. CCF has a great database, great resources, and a supportive community. Try to eliminate sugar, junk food, and alcohol. Sugar feeds cancer, as we know. And once you're over it, you can go back to eating sugar, but believe me, you won't crave it. If you smoke, stop smoking. Enjoy nature and fresh air. Try to keep active, walk a little every day. Gather your support network and check your stress. And most importantly, don't lose hope. Always check with your doctor before adding any supplements if you are receiving chemo or are on other medications. Much of what we'll discuss tonight is common sense. My research has led me to some excellent resources through the foundation, of course, such as Dr. William Lee's book, Eat to Beat Disease. It's written by a doctor who actually understands and promotes the healing effects of nutrition. We know that too much inflammation is at the root of many chronic diseases, such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune disease, and cancer. We also know that inflammation feeds tumor growth. So reduce your intake of processed foods and added sugars, including candy, sodas, desserts, sweetened yogurts, certain cereals even. These helpful foods will kill cancer stem cells, but don't harm beneficial stem cells that help you fight disease. Of course, fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes such as apples, apricots, blackberries, Raspberries are great. Berries of all kinds are very high in antioxidants called flavonoids that fight cancer. And the more colorful your diet is, the better. So carrots, celery, chestnuts, cranberries, dark chocolate, grapes are all great. Mushrooms, reishi and shiitakes are great for cancer and they're yummy, but all mushrooms are beneficial. Peanuts, peppers, pistachios. I grab a handful of nuts to get my omega-3 fatty acids and to curb hunger instead of other salty snacks. Plums, pomegranates, purple potatoes, soy, walnuts. Plus, these foods are anti-inflammatory and very high in antioxidants. Capers, who would think? Coffee. I always buy organic coffee. Coffee is one of the most sprayed agricultural products in the world, so you get a lot of pesticides in coffee. Green tea, I also try to go organic. Extra virgin olive oil gives you heart-healthy fatty acids, antioxidants, and it's an excellent source of vitamin E, which is important in fighting cancer. Oregano, thyme, I grow my own and sprinkle oregano and thyme on everything I cook. Red wine when you can. Get plenty of fiber and healthy foods in your diet. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower are excellent, cooked or raw. They're also rich in potassium, magnesium, and antioxidants. Leafy greens such as kale, spinach, and Swiss chard, the deeper the color, the better. Whole grain breads instead of white breads. Beans are full of fiber and protein, so navy beans, baked beans, chili beans, any beans. Garlic is naturally antibacterial and heart healthy, and so are onions. Artichokes and asparagus are delicious, and they also contain prebiotics, which are full of fiber. Fatty fish, wild salmon, tuna, herring are full of omega-3s. Coconut or avocado oil I use for sauteing instead of vegetable and palm oils. They can overheat and burn, but also other vegetable oils can be rancid and they can actually be carcinogenic. Fermented foods are especially good for your gut, which is at the center of your immunity. So I eat pickled vegetables such as sauerkraut and kimchi, or pao sai, which is the Chinese version of kimchi. Cheeses, especially Parmigiano and Reggiano, Gouda and Camembert are excellent for fermented foods. Greek yogurts with no added sugars are good. And sourdough bread is my favorite since I'm from San Francisco. Some spices are really, really good in fighting cancer because they're full of antioxidants and they also make your food taste very good and you can add less salt. So turmeric is the absolute best. With pepper in curries, stews, on eggs, fish, and meat. Use it in teas. I make a golden milk that I have at night instead of hot chocolate. It's full of antioxidants. It's super anti-inflammatory and it's anti-tumor. Cinnamon stabilizes your blood sugar. It's super antioxidant and also anti-inflammatory. Fresh or dried rosemary again, thyme and oregano, sage. Fresh ginger is super anti-inflammatory and it also helps with nausea, which we get. Because we can't get all of the nutrition we need in food, no matter how hard we try, I take a good multivitamin daily. And remember, please talk to your doctor before adding any supplements. Extra vitamin C is very important to me. It provides antioxidants for immune function. Some cancer patients get IV infusions through their functional or integrative doctors. I haven't done that, but I have considered it. I pair my vitamin C with zinc, which is highly antioxidant and also good for immune function. A good B complex vitamin is good for your sleep, and it's good for so many systems in your body. Vitamin D3 and K2 is extremely important. Most people with cancer and other chronic diseases are deficient in vitamin D. I take at least 2,000 milligrams a day on days that I cannot get 20 minutes of outdoor sun time. Also important, the vitamin K2 complements the D3. Too much D in your blood can calcify in your blood vessels. It means it blocks your blood vessels. The K2 keeps your vessels open, so it's good for your cardiovascular health. Take one D3 to one K2 or buy a combination D3 K2 supplement. More supplements, omega-3 fatty acids with DHA and EPA, like fish oil or krill oil, are important. I use a plant-based supplement called iWe made from algae, which has the same benefits. I like the company because it also, after you buy the first bottle, you can get a subscription and they send you your supplements in paper sacks. So it uses less plastic. CoQ10 is really important for your cardiovascular health, but it's also a super antioxidant that is also excellent for your cardiovascular health. A good probiotic is good for your gut health every day. CBD oil or medical THC, they're good antioxidants. They are anti-tumor. They're good for your mood and anxiety. They're good for pain, relaxation, and sleep. So what's not to like? It's really important to try to eliminate toxins in your home and your life. Toxic overload can lead to chronic inflammation and diseases like cancer, but also other things. These are the chemicals that I've come to avoid. Roundup in your garden is a proven carcinogen. I don't know why they still sell Roundup in this country, since it's banned in Europe and in Asia. Pesticides on fruits and vegetables, coffees and teas. I buy organic whenever possible or carefully wash produce, and I'll give you tips on that later. Clorox and other noxious cleaning products are very bad for you. There are safe versions of everything, even antibacterial products if you look hard enough. Try to eliminate or reduce alcohol. Your doctors will tell you. Again, eliminate alcohol if you have active cancer. However, a glass of red wine is anti-cancer and good for digestion. When you do, 1 drink per day is supposed to be safe for women or 2 drinks for men. It's not fair, but men are bigger. But ask your doctor before you drink. Eliminate tobacco, period. I'm really excited to tell you about the Environmental Working Group. It's an excellent resource. I use the website and the app to check products, produce, and toxins. The Environmental Working Group is a nonprofit American activist group that specializes in research and advocacy in the areas of agricultural subsidies, toxic chemicals, drinking water pollutants, and corporate accountability. You can check labels and brands on their website, https://www.ewg.org. Again, it'll be on the last slide, so no need to take notes. This is the app. You can get it at the Apple Store, wherever you get apps. You can put in the brand names of products you're going to buy, and it'll tell you what their ratings are and what their scale is. It shows that some are very carcinogenic. It shows that some cause a lot of inflammation, and it shows which ones are safe. So I highly recommend it. They also come out with a list of clean 15 produce and dirty 12 produce every year. And the 2021 lists just came out. Fruits with hard skins and cruciferous vegetables are generally safe in their conventional versions. So make sure you use a good veggie wash or rinse these in a mixture of vinegar and water. I use like a cap full of vinegar and a gallon of water, and soak all my vegetables. So the clean ones that you can buy conventionally are avocados, sweet corn, pineapple, onions, papaya, sweet peas, which are frozen, eggplant, asparagus, broccoli, cabbage, kiwi, cauliflower, mushrooms, honeydew melon, and cantaloupe. The Dirty 12, this is an important list to me, and I actually carry a list when I go to the grocery store because these are heavily sprayed with pesticides. I always try to buy organic versions of these fruits and vegetables. Strawberries is number 1. Spinach, kale, collard, and mustard greens, nectarines, apples, grapes, cherries, peaches. So anything that has hair, anything that's porous, or otherwise heavily sprayed. Pears, bell and hot peppers, celery, and tomatoes. So not just the food we eat, but many cosmetics and creams contain known cancer-causing ingredients and hormone disruptors such as aluminum, formaldehyde, flattates, parabens. Avoid these. Check labels and the EWG website at the Skin Deep website. Lifestyle is important too. I try to make smart choices. Sleep was something I could never do. And I'm sure that when I had my recurrence, I was probably sleeping 4 to 6 hours because my mom was ill on the West Coast and I was teaching and doing several projects and doing a PhD at the same time. So get 8 hours of sleep a day. Rest whenever you need to. Do a few minutes of gentle yoga or gentle exercise or walk 2 miles a day, which reduces inflammation and stress. I swim about 1,000 meters about 3 times a week. And now that the weather's changing, I'll try to go back to playing tennis and hiking. Nature and fresh air are critical to my health and my head. Get out in nature and notice the beauty all around you as much as possible. I also do gardening, which is so gratifying, and it's nice to eat my own food. Practice mindfulness, deep, slow breathing to calm down, and meditation. I use the Insight Timer app or Calm on my smartphone, and it's really easy to do. They've got music, guided meditations, sleep meditations, spiritual meditations, you name it. It's just really helpful to my peace of mind. Attitude is everything, as we know. Believe you will survive this. If you're a believer, pray. Otherwise, consciously think positive thoughts. Your attitude's so important to your healing, and cancer can be so stressful. When you feel overwhelmed and need support, don't hesitate to call on a therapist to cope with your stress, your anxiety, and depression, and to bolster your emotional resilience. You need it now more than ever. And it's really a luxury to have someone to talk to that's not your family and not your friends. Laughter and support. Give yourself permission to accept help from partners, family, friends, neighbors. Let others provide meals, pick up the kids, help with cleaning. A lot of us are very independent people, I've noticed, and a lot of us tend to take care of everybody else around us. I think that's gotten me into trouble sometimes, and so it was a real lesson to learn to rely on family and friends when I needed to, but it was a big help. I also watch silly movies. My girlfriend sent me a copy of Blazing Saddles, and it was a mistake to laugh at that when I had just had my VATS surgeries on my lungs last year. But belly laughter when you're not sore is really, really good. It provides endorphins to you and is really good for your healing. Have fun whenever you can. It's important to remember that you are not cholangiocarcinoma. You are not cancer. You have a disease, but you are much, much more. Continue your life to the extent possible. Engage in activities and life work that give you meaning. Have fun with your loved ones and laugh a lot. Chase after beloved people and pets. My personal favorites are Theo, pictured here, 3, and Luca, 1. They keep me busy, grateful, and laughing, and tired. And this is just a gratuitous picture of my grandsons. Everyone's journey is different and special. I've learned so much about myself and those I love, especially what's important and what I need to let go of. Believe me, there was a lot to let go of, but I gained a lot. I'm wishing you good luck and love on your personal journey. Thanks for listening. These are the resources. William Lee's Eat to Beat Disease, The New Science of How Your Body Can Heal Itself, an excellent book. Kelly Turner's Radical Remission, Surviving Cancer Against All Odds, was inspiring for me to read. Angela Liddon, The Oh She Glows Cookbook, over 100 vegan recipes to glow from the inside out. I'm not a vegan. I'm not even a vegetarian. I eat grass-fed meats, like grass-fed beef once a week, and organic chicken most of the time, and fish. But these recipes are awesome and delicious. The apps and websites, the most important one to me is the EWG, the Environmental Working Group website, and also the Insight Timer app is the one that I use for my meditations, yoga, healing talks, spiritual talks, sleep, and music. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Susan. That was wonderful, and it was so much information, full of wonderful information. It looks like we have one question that popped up earlier. It's from Catherine. Oh, it's not showing the whole name. Oh, it looks like Catherine White asked, what does chemo do to your gut bacteria?
Well, I'm not a nutritionist, but I haven't had chemo for 10 years, but I know that chemo destroys your gut bacteria. Basically, it's a chemical, it's a toxin, and it destroys your gut bacteria. So before you go on a probiotic, if you're on chemo, please ask your doctor, and they'll probably tell you to wait until you've completed your chemo before you take a probiotic. But it's really important to replace the good bacteria in your body after you're done with chemo.
All right. And then, oh, Marsha Goldstein just gave a little shout out. Excellent presentation. Thank you.
Hi, Marsha. I know you were on Tibet too.
Yep. She said, strongly recommend Dr. Lee's book.
Mm-hmm. Good. Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Catherine, for the question.
All right. So far, it looks like those are the only two that have popped up. But anyone else, feel free to post on our Facebook page as well, or send in the chat. You can always leave the comments on the videos as well on Facebook, which I just said, but sorry. Melinda on Facebook asks, how do you feel about buying non-organic if not on the Dirty Dozen list?
How do I go about buying non-organic foods?
If it's not on the Dirty Dozen list?
Well, if it's on the clean list, it's fine. So I usually go to the clean list and buy those conventionally. And then I always buy the ones on the Dirty Dozen list organically. But all of my fruits and vegetables, I soak very carefully and then rinse very carefully to get all the pesticides and waxes off.
Okay. Looks like next one, oh, they're starting to come in now. Maureen Townsley, what can I eat while I have diarrhea?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I had diarrhea with the Tipsovo, and sometimes after the resection also I had indigestion. So I kept, whenever I have indigestion and gastrointestinal problems, I keep it simple. So I eat like brown rice and a basic chicken without lots of sauces. And also, when you have a lot of diarrhea, I think you're not supposed to eat too much fiber, although fiber is still very important. So basically, use the practices that you would use for good nutrition when you have diarrhea. I tried to get away from Imodium and using more medicines. And sometimes you just have to grin and bear it, but it's really a drag. I'm sorry.
All right. Mindy Cooper says, thank you, hugs, for your presentation. Stephanie Stratbeck, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, said, which foods are most important to avoid?
Extra spicy foods, like, I love Indian food and Szechuan food. But when I was on chemo, I avoided extra spicy foods. I also avoided extra heavy foods because I wasn't feeling well most of the time. I was on chemo for probably 9 months. But it's hard for me to remember what I ate 10 years ago now.
All right. I think that might be all the comments so far. Oh, Maureen Townsley again said, thank you for the answers, presentation, and resources.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening. I hope that these suggestions are helpful to people. Of course, adapt it to your needs. Everyone's at a different point. I think especially if you're newly diagnosed, clean up your nutrition, get rid of sugar, eliminate alcohol, and eliminate junk foods until you've got some things under control. And then you can be freer. After I was declared NED for the first time in 2 years, I was naughty, and I got a box of chocolates and I ate several of them, and I had a glass of scotch. And I do have a glass of wine with dinner. But for the most part, I've been behaving myself.
You got to indulge a little bit.
Yeah, got to be happy.
All right. Oh, here's a couple more that came up. Sue Lansing, I hope I pronounced that right as well. She said, do you have a problem with anemia, and did you take or eat anything for iron enhancement?
I know naturally that foods like spinach and kale are really good for anemia and iron, but I would ask your doctor if you need to take an iron pill. I wasn't anemic when I was on chemo and during other treatments that I know of. I did feel weak, and when I felt weak, I just went to bed. What do? We go to bed.
All right, and then to Catherine and Mary. Yes, we are going to put up all the resources that Susan mentioned at the end of the slide, and we're also going to, I believe, send out her presentation as a whole as well. If not, post it on Facebook. Yeah, Emma put a link in the chat, actually. It says this will be posted to our YouTube channel. That way you can find it there.
Yeah. The environmental working group also sends you this little handy cheat sheet to take to the supermarket with you when you go shopping. This is last year's, which they sent me for a small donation, but they'll send you the list for free online. And it's also on my slides, which you will receive. Here's the wonderful Dr. Lee's book, Eat to Beat Disease, which many of you know about. This book I love, the Oh She Glows cookbook. Look at those carrots, just delicious, roasted just like that. I love this cookbook, and I've learned to really love cooking since I got cancer. This book, Radical Remission, I know a lot of you have read it, has been helpful to me and very, very inspiring. And this, Pellegrino. I drink a lot of water and keep myself clean. I'm also not perfect, so I, eat unhealthy foods sometimes, especially when I'm not sick, which is kind of counter to what I just said. But we're not perfect, and we do have to enjoy life. And if you have little kids running around, you eat a lot of stuff, as you guys know. You eat a lot of things that they eat.
Let's see. Oh, one more. Steve on Facebook. Do you have any views on potatoes?
Do I have any views? I love potatoes. Any root vegetables I buy organically because the water seeps into the ground and they are heavily sprayed. So I buy organic potatoes and sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are much better for you. They're full of antioxidants. They're a superfood. I forgot to put them on there. I think I put purple potatoes on there, but sweet potatoes are really, really good for you. But I do love white potatoes as well. Anything in moderation is good.
Let's see. Maureen has another question. It says, any suggestions for hand, foot side effects besides utterly smooth cream?
I had Gemzar when I was on chemo, so I don't really, remember having hand and foot side effects. I know with the Tibsovo, I had rashes, and I still do, and dry skin, also with the radiation. I use Eucerin in the shower, the body wash. It's very gentle and moisturizing, and I just lather up with moisturizer all the time. But I don't know specifically about hand and foot side effects. Nivea is really good. Anything without all of the toxic things in it. That's why I always check the EWG website for all of my products and creams.
Okay.
There was one more question. Can you do juicing while doing chemo for bile duct cancer?
Again, sometimes when you're on chemo, it's not so good to do a lot of raw foods and juicing. So you'll have to check with a nutritionist or your doctor. I did do juicing, and I got a Vitamix for that purpose. It was awesome. I think you want to keep it simple though, and you want to make sure that you wash all of your vegetables and fruits really good when you're juicing.
All right. Next question. It looks like it came from Facebook. It says, what do you think about coffee enemas? I've heard they are being used with cancer patients now as a treatment. Do you know if this is true?
I know it's true that it's being used for cancer patients. I've never had a coffee enema. I've known people who feel very clean after a coffee enema, but I really don't know.
All right. Next one. Are there any benefits of juicing versus eating fruits whole?
Okay, some juices have a lot of sugar in them, and they add sugar to your diet, of course. Eating clean fruits whole is really good for you because you get all of the nutrition you need, plus it gives you fiber. When you remove a lot of that for juice, it takes out the fiber unless you leave the fiber in. Otherwise, it's easier to have juice in the morning than to eat a whole bowl of fruit. So I think that would be the benefit of juicing. And you can also add to it supplements and powders, fiber, protein powder. But eating food is really good for you. Whole.
Let's see. Oh, I think this connects back to Maureen's comment earlier. Marcia said Pacifica makes a great line of cleansers, cosmetics, and nail polishes that are chemical free.
Oh, good. I didn't know that. I'll have to look up Pacifica. Thank you.
I'm thinking that might be all of our comments and questions for right now.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I wish you all, and the foundation, of course, wishes you all good luck and love on your journey. We're all here to support each other, and I'm so glad that we are. So good luck, eat healthy.
Yes, and thank you so much again, Susan. Thank you. We're so grateful for your presentation and your insight. And like I said earlier, we'll be sharing her presentation out. So it's going to be on the Facebook page, our YouTube page, and it also looks like it will be posted on our calendar on our website. And if you have any questions, follow-up questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to us on the Facebook page. You can also email us as well. Just a little reminder, we do have a patient support group tomorrow, Lisa Crane. And then the registration for the turkey trot is also open. So make sure you go and register for that. Otherwise, oh, go ahead.
Caitlin, can you tell me what the turkey trot is? I'm sorry, I don't know what it is.
It is. Emma, can you explain it better than me?
The turkey trot is a way to it's a fundraising event. So it was just when COVID happened, we wanted to include everyone. So that was the best way we did. We told people to go on a walk virtually and to support the foundation.
Oh, okay, good. Thank
You
you.
did. You did a much better job of explaining that, Emma, than I would. I probably would have struggled through that.
This is going to be my first one, so I'm excited.
That is exciting. So yes, everybody make sure you go register for the turkey trot. And then otherwise, we'll be back next month with the Wellness Wednesday at the first of the month. But just as a reminder again, we will be posting a social media post on the next couple of Wednesdays of this month, supporting nutrition. And if you have any questions or anything like that along the way, please feel free to leave those on the Facebook page as well. And we'll reach out to you and try to provide you with the most information that we can.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thanks,
Thanks
Emma.
so much.